Guys, yesterday you probably heard me ranting a little bit on my channel. I was very angry regarding what people were speculating about the crypto market and why it crashed. Obviously, we had a $1 billion market liquidations, and nobody's trying to look at that to say, like, hold on, that's what's caused the crash. Of course, I have my own views. I believe BlackRock had something to do with it. But none of this matters right now because this video is not about Bitcoin. We're not going to talk about Bitcoin. We're not going to talk about Elon Musk. We're not going to talk about BlackRock. We're not going to talk about Coinbase. We're not going to talk about SEC, ETF, FT, whatever. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff. What we want to talk about is the entire total market cap and one other coin today, right? So if you can see on this chart right now, okay, where we are, you can see that this is the total market cap and we've broke a significant support zone. So this area here was a significant support which we actually created March 2023 on a daily, right? And this is a significant support zone and we broke through this right here, you can see. Now, after breaking this, we're currently facing a little bit of a resistance. So I'm going to just quickly zoom into this. So you can see we're facing a little bit of resistance. The problem is, what I see is that we are still going to have a lot more resistance around this particular zone here. When we do come back to test it here with a green candle on a daily, we will face some resistance. So we have to break through this in order for us to be bullish again, right? So, and this is a total market cap, by the way. So I'm talking about the God knows how many billion coins, right? I'm just exaggerating, but the point is it's over 1 million coins right now. So this whole thing needs to move back up in order for it to be bullish, right? So I just want people to kind of understand that, look, this is like, you know, when we're doing on the daily, the way we do it, where we are right now, again, you can see how this peak here that we had, right? Where is it? Sorry, yeah, this peak here is where we've broken below, right? So that means now that we could easily come back and test around this particular zone here, right? Let's just bring something here and we can see we can come back to test this zone. In fact, we found a little bit of support here, but we could also come back all the way down here. Now, what does that mean, right? So coming to 968 or whatever, just call it 900 and something billion-dollar market cap. What does that mean for the entire market, right? This means that we have a potential to drop even below. And even below is not good because you can see clearly on this chart that even below the support currently is sitting at 727 billion dollars, right? So we have a bit of a problem here. You know, I mean, on the BTC, everything looks quite cool. I don't see much of an issue. But, you know, I'm not going to bet anything on that, right? So the way I'm looking at it is, you know, I'm just trying to be kind of logical and say, okay, how does BTC look? You can see pretty much a similar area. Currently now, we are looking at these, you know, on a weekly time frame, but we are looking at worst case scenario. If we do not hold the current support zone, then we have a few more support, like we have a support around here, which is the 22,000. We have a support around here, the 24,700. We talked about this yesterday. But if we can't hold any of these zones here, right? You know, even this particular zone here at the $20,000 level, so $20,900 level, then sadly, we are going to test the 15,400 again. And if that happens, then the worst case scenario is that we could go below. So everyone needs to be fairly aware right now and kind of plan for what's about to come, right? And these are all ifs and buts, right? So if this happens, then that, and then but, oh, it's a good opportunity. So all of that kind of thing. But I don't want to give you any of that news here. The whole thing is this is what the market is showing. Even on the daily, if you look at the daily, you can see that we have, you know, minor support zones here, but our major one is currently sitting at this 24,756. You can see this is the low current fresh low that we have. But if we do fall below this, then you can see the numbers I've been talking about. All of these numbers are indicated with these lines here. These are the next major support zones, and the major ones are here. This is a major support zone, 18,500, and then the next major one is around the 16,400. And if we fall below that, then you've got the 15,500. So you can see these numbers are actually there, you know, showing us what the potential is for the market to do. Now, I want to go to the other chart that I was talking about, and sorry, hold on. That chart is currently FUSDT. So ETHUSDT is showing me something completely different, and I believe the market is definitely in danger, right? So, if I was to give you an analysis, then my analysis right now is that the entire market is in a little bit of danger, even though Ethereum has only 20% dominance, right? Approximately 20% dominance in the entire market. It still has a significant power to pull the market down. So right now, Ethereum is in a far more serious danger zone than BTC, right? From what happened yesterday, right? So you can see how it's come back to test this particular resistance zone. Now it's become resistance anyway. This blue area here has come to test it, but it's not really doing much, right? And it's currently holding around the previous buy zone. You can see around this particular area here, right? Let me draw it for you. This particular zone here. This is where it's trying to hold its a little bit of support. But what I want to show you is when you zoom out, this is a major zone, and this is what we broke through, right? This is a major support zone, is what we broke through. So this particular zone was a previous resistance area, and this should have been our support zone. And you can see how we've now broken through the support and we've gone down, all the way down, right, on the daily. And this is dangerous. This is absolutely dangerous, right? And it's not all doomed, right? I'll tell you a little bit more about that. It's not all about doomsday here. On the weekly, you can see again where we are. So you can see on the weekly, this particular triangle that we had. So we did have a triangle forming here, and I'll show you this just like this. So we had this triangle forming here, right? This kind of triangular shape. Let's just do it nicely, right? So we had this triangle forming here, and that triangle has now basically been broken, right? So you can see we fell through the triangle. This is the area where we fell through. So this is definitely showing some bearishness, right? On these higher time frames, this does not look good unless we can get back above on the trend line and start trending back up. So that's what I'm seeing, right? However, there's other thing I'm seeing as well is the RSI, right? And we want to look at the RSI on the weekly and the daily and whatnot, right? So what we're seeing here, and this is what ETH is showing me. ETH is showing me everything's pointing downwards. That means we could potentially go a little bit lower. And a little bit lower, in cryptosphere can actually be something big, right? If ETH cannot hold on to itself, like, its current area, and it starts falling, then we have a situation where it could drag the market down. So I hope you understand. It could actually end up dragging the market down, right? And I'm going to try and go back. Hold on, give me a second. I want to go back. Sorry. Let's go back to BTC USD. Actually, let me go to this one. Yeah, let's go to this one, right? So this one is my old chart, and you can see the same situation here on the weekly where BTC is also coming down as well. And that's what I'm trying to say. It could potentially drag it down. Now, there is another, a good plus side here, and I've mentioned this yesterday as well. Below this zone here, so this yellow line here, below this zone here, is an area where you should be accumulating. If you could buy around this particular zone here, this area here, you're laughing. This is like the perfect zone. But this area means that if we did come down like this and then go back up, this area clearly means that BTC could go and test the lower, the 20K mark again. And I would be worried, by the way, and this is me being honest here right now, I will be 100% worried if BTC came back to test the 15K, 15.5K or whatever, even the 16.5K. I'll be freaking worried. Why? Because remember, something that has a force to push in a particular way can end up causing a larger effect, right? So think about it this way. You go to a pond and you throw a pebble. Now, depending on the size of the pebble, you might get a little splash. But the splash is not the bigger problem because it creates a ripple. And that ripple could actually, continuously, with momentum, continuously grow bigger and bigger the further it gets. So think about it this way. If BTC, trickles down all the way to 16.5K, even anywhere near 20K, right? Anywhere near freaking 20K, then the effects are that it could just get larger and larger, and more people would get liquidated. And that would then, have this cascading effect, obviously, like a house of cards, and prices could go down even lower. Now, you may have noticed that those of you who've followed me on Discord and whatnot, I mentioned a few months back, actually, someone said to me something about 13.8K, and I said, yeah, it's still actually on the books, because we are not bullish. We need to get above the 50% mark, right? Which is just over 35, 36K. If we can get above the 35K, then we are a lot more confirmed. But anything below that, we're still technically in a danger zone. We're still technically coming out of a bear market. We're still inside it. Yes, we're projecting to go up, but it doesn't mean that we are already there. This, if it goes back to the 15.5K, then sadly we are not in a bull market. This is the confirmation that we were looking for. But of course, it took months and months for this to give us, right? So if that happens, just be prepared. That's all I'm saying. What you need to do now, and I know yesterday a lot of people got wrecked, right? Myself, I got wrecked as well yesterday. There's a few portfolios that I've had. I was managing some for few people, and plus I had my own portfolio as well. Believe me, on one of them completely wrecked, right? And I'm not even talking about leverage trading, by the way. These are actual spot buys, and we've bought certain coins in XYZ. And recently, I mentioned on not my last video, the one before that, a week ago, I did a video, and I mentioned I'm not buying Bitcoin anymore. I'm buying altcoins, and those altcoins have bled out, completely bled out. Believe me, right? So, I'm seeing massive losses. But right now, rather than panicking about the losses that I've made, I'm kind of saying, okay, hold on, I've got to take 2 steps back, and I've got to strategize. Yes, the market could potentially go down even further, right? And if it does, it will take me down even lower. So the percentage I've lost is nothing. I could get wrecked even more. But one thing I don't do is I haven't done, right? And, this is me being honest here. I haven't had a leverage trade. So recently, I haven't done a single leverage trade. So actually, my assets are intact. I haven't really lost anything. I've just lost the monetary value, but I haven't actually lost anything. So that gave me an opportunity and an idea as well. And I thought, okay, maybe I should start DCAing, because if the market wants to go back and test these lower levels, right, on Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, because Ethereum is the one that as I said, showing me a little bit of sign of weakness, right? Ethereum is the one that I'm more worried about than anything else right now. And I'm being honest here. It's Ethereum that's actually showing me this weakness here. Hence why, I'm a little bit worried. Now, if Ethereum does crash and come back down to, say, 1200 or below level, which I'm worried about if it does, and it creates this effect where every other coin starts dumping as well, because remember, they are pegged, or not pegged, but they are kind of priced in Ethereum and BTC XYZ. So when we see this effect in the market, then I'm better off not waiting to pick up on specific zones, because I might never get them, because the market could potentially do the opposite of what I think it will. So the strategy for me would be, I need to start dollar cost averaging, right? So let's just put it this way. If I was going to play with $100, now is the time when I'm going to split it into 5 equal parts. And I'm going to say, right, I'm going to enter this, and I'm going to enter this. I'm going to do this over XYZ amount of time. Whether I do it weekly, daily, whatever, it doesn't matter, depending on how much money I have. So I need to start dollar cost averaging into the very same coins in order to kind of double up, right? But I'm not planning to say, oh, it's going to go down 90% or 99%, and then I'll put another 100, and now I've got the potential to make 10x that amount. I'm not betting on any of that. I'm not doing any of that. All I'm saying is, like, okay, if I've got 100 coins, or if I've got 1,000 coins, and the price keeps on dipping, then I'm only going to invest again what I can afford to lose, because that's money that we've invested is money we can lose. So let's put more money in that we can afford to lose, right? But this time we're going to DCA a little bit, because the market could flip. Because remember, the zones we're coming in, especially with the RSI and everything, the zones we're entering right now, these are your bullish zones, right? Of course, the RSI here, the yellow line, is still not on the bottom, so it's not perfectly bull, right? It's not perfectly, showing that, okay, we are going to be super bullish now. But I am seeing this area here below this yellow line and above this blue line here I'm talking about, and this yellow line here, that is enough for me to say this is a good zone to buy, right? So what I want to do, sorry, one second. Sorry, here. So what I want to do is, this is the zone that I want to buy. So if I DCA into this, and even if the market keeps on coming down up to here or wherever, and then rebound on the way up, then all I have to do is, as soon as I'm DCAing down this direction, so I'm DCAing here, right? You know, let's just put it this way. So I'm DCAing here, down, 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 and then the market flips up. All I have to do is stop. As soon as it starts moving back up, I have to stop. When I stop, whatever I've accumulated in this zone here, now I'm in profit on the way up here, if that makes sense, right? So that's the strategy that I'm kind of going to be playing right now. Of course, the reason I'm panicking a little bit, I am worried, is I don't want to see BTC fall below 20k. The reason is previously when BTC fell below 20k, we've already bought. So I don't know, a lot of you, if you follow me from back in the days, right, back in 2021, when the bull market ended, we actually ended up dumping all of our assets. And we were sitting with actual buy orders to pick it up at 19,900, at 16,000, 17,000, you name it. We had multiple areas of buys. So what we did was we had auto buys, like not auto, but we had a limit order set up. So if it comes to this zone, buy up the coins, right? And we did those. So that means we've run out of dry powder, right? We just don't have any. So what do we do now, right? Because the remaining balance that we had was for the altcoins. You know, on last week's video, when we talked about now is the time to buy altcoins, right? And again, when we all expected now is the time, when everybody expected that, the market decided to do something. You know, some people have said black swan. I don't think it was a black swan. Definite manipulation, definitely done on purpose, and I still think it was done by BlackRock, right? But news will come out soon anyway. You'll see. My hunch probably be correct, but you see anyway, right? Because it's all to do with BlackRock. BlackRock's up to something, you know. And leverage trading works both ways, right? You lose whatever asset you have, or you can actually make, you know, with a 10x leverage, you can make 10 times more than what you had in the first place. So, you know, the gains are a lot more lucrative. So hence why I don't see a reason why somebody could actually short the market 10 times what they dump, you know. Also, just to kind of add here, I don't think Elon Musk or Tesla or SpaceX or whatever had anything to do with their Bitcoin, right? I don't think they had anything to do with it. If they have sold, they've sold it way back. And the funny fact is, if they have sold it way back before they, you know, announced it, right? That only proves one thing, that when they dumped, the market didn't dump, right? And I've mentioned this on yesterday's video as well, that if Elon Musk decides to sell, well, you need buyers. And if buyers are still buying, even if he tries to sell it for less money, he actually can't dump the market. It takes a lot more force to dump the market. So that's what's happening. I mean, there's definitely something going on. You need inside triggers, right? You need inside triggers. So that's what's happened here. But, you know, other than that, I don't want to say anything else. But just be careful, guys. This video here has got nothing to do with, you know, BTC doing this, doing that, or any of the stuff that I said yesterday. In fact, I want to apologize if I sounded, you know, rude or angry yesterday. I don't mean to offend anybody. I was just so angry because I had so many people sending me messages, telling me this, telling me that. You know, I mean, I understand you guys, you know, I don't do regular videos. So you end up kind of drifting over to other influencers and, you know, sorry, not influencers, like other YouTube channels, because I don't consider myself an influencer. So hence why I don't want to say other, right? So you go and you drift away and you move to other people and you hear news, right? You hear all sorts of news, you know, Elon Musk, this, that, whatever, S&P 500, Dixie chart, you know, oh, it's correlated with NASDAQ, all this, that, whatever. I understand that. I mean, some people have even talked about Evergrande, and I'm like, what the fuck has Evergrande got to do with it? Oh, Evergrande is now filed for whatever, liquidation or whatever, right? You know, bankruptcy. So they're going bankrupt. Well, where are they going bankrupt? They're already bankrupt. As far as I thought, they were bankrupt back in 2020 or 2021, right? Wasn't that when we had the major news? So why is Evergrande still around, right? And if they have filed for bankruptcy in the US, that's only because they don't want to pay any investors in the US. But the company's gone to shits anyway. So investors probably won't get much anyway. And also in China, you know, investors from abroad, they're not really protected. The Chinese government doesn't give a shit. You know, think about it, right? So it's just, when you look at it, it's like, why are people always trying to connect the dots? The charts were showing what the probabilities are, based on the support and resistance zone. That's all we need, right? So we know that unless we go above a certain level, we have the probability to come back down. It's been flashing the entire time. And if we go down, then how low we can go. We already had that as well. And I've mentioned this so many times, right? So it was just chart was speaking, right? The candles were speaking for themselves. They didn't need any news, any representative, anybody's doing this. Let's put it this way, even if just say for the sake of this video, right, that 10 traders around the world decided to dump the market. The probability of these 10 traders, and I'm talking like in number, just kind of simplify numbers, right? And it's obviously it's not 10, it's thousands of traders, but just saying, if 10 traders around the world decided to dump the market, the probability of them knowing each other is very low. So it wasn't a combined attack, right? It takes somebody somewhere inside an exchange to create the trigger. Once the trigger's created, it shows up on chain, hence the liquidation starts. So, when you're doing these kind of trades, you should understand the risk. You should have your stop losses and whatnot. But a lot of people didn't, right? So that's the situation. But anyway, listen, guys, I'm not angry anymore. And, as I said, I apologize if I did sound rude. But I have my hunch. I think I know what's going on. And again, I don't have any evidence to give to you, but I'm just like, how can people have such a short-term memory? How can people just forget just like that, right? And how can people focus on things that are actually irrelevant? Evergrande doesn't trade crypto. Evergrande doesn't hold Bitcoin. Evergrande didn't dump Bitcoin. So why would we talk about Evergrande? Elon Musk done his filing for his whatever he was doing, right? And that was talking about the past. It was not talking about today. So why is that news being published and pumped out? Those are the kind of questions I ask myself, and those are the reasons why I was pissed off. I was like, this is not current stuff. Why are we even looking at that? But as I said, it's my fault because I don't make, my viewers, that's all I'm talking about anyway, my viewers who, ended up messaging me and whatnot. I understand that you are trying to get information from elsewhere, but you know what? You have connections with me. You have me on Discord. You have me on WhatsApp. A lot of you guys have my direct phone number. Just call me. Just ask me. Don't tell me what other person has said to you. If the other person has said to you, what evidence do they have? Right? What proof do they have? If it's Chinese whispers, like, oh, somebody else told me, somebody passed down that rumor to. No, don't use that. You need hardcore evidence. And every time you get information, even from me, you need to take 2 steps back and say to yourself, right, hold on. Does that make sense? Because if it doesn't make any sense, then think about it. Like yesterday, it was Elon Musk, and it was Evergrande, and it was every other thing. I was like, what the hell, right? People are talking about, oh, the Dixie's going up. Well, Dixie's going up. I don't understand why the Dixie's going up, but they're printing so much more money. So that money is constantly devalued. So in that theory, BTC market cap right now, Bitcoin market cap should be around $2 trillion. Not at some petty, 500 and something billion dollar market cap. Bitcoin alone should be around $2 trillion right now, right? But it's not happening. So somewhere along the line, somebody's controlling what BTC does. That's all I can say. It happened when we hit the top, $65,000, $69,000 top, right? That's the same thing happened. Somebody somewhere has figured out how to, hit the buttons to trigger certain situations. So I'm not sure who. I don't know who. I can only speculate that it's definitely somebody with a lot of money, who's not burning money. By the way, they're making money. On the way up, they're making money, and on the way down, they're also making a lot more money, right? So clearly, somebody's deciding what the market should do, and in order for that to happen, there has to be people out there with a lot of money and a lot of influence that can actually do this. Because it can take us something simple as a small exchange to trigger something like this, especially in the leverage markets, because everyone's connected to the same engine. So it's one of those, like, I don't know, I can't pinpoint it. But guys, please do understand, you need to have your strategies in place right now. On the way up, it's a different story. The market could go up. I'm not too fussed about what the market might do on the way up, but I am concerned about what the market is doing right now and where the market is right now. I mean, look, this is a daily. Here's a good example, right? So this is a daily chart. On the daily, look at that RSI, right? Look at that RSI, how beautiful it looks. It looks bullish, right? Yeah. But what happens is the things change the moment we enter this, we leave the RSI and we look at how we lost our support zone. We lost our support. Currently, our support is below the previous resistance zone. That's what makes me worried. That's what makes me really, really worried. So please do understand that this current downtrend, or whatever you want to call it, this flash crash, doesn't look like it's over. It could be. Again, when we all expect it to be over, it might not be over, and when we think that we're going to be going down even further, we might not. But everything that you want to do, it depends on the strategy that you have right now. I mentioned on yesterday's video as well, do I think the market's going to go down to zero? No, I don't think so. This is another big play just before the big bull run starts. It happens every single season. I mean, somebody actually said, oh, this happened in 2011. Yeah, there was only one coin in 2011. So please, let's not go to 2011. All right. There's only a handful of coins, right? I know people are very used to connecting the dots, the ones that are the simplest dots, the ones that are right in front of you, the one that everyone's talking about. Those are the dots everybody likes to connect, right? But sometimes just, you gotta just take 2 steps back and see the dot that nobody else is looking at. That's the dot you need to connect. And I'm telling you, this is something else. But anyway, I think I've said this too many times. I'm not going to ask you to like. I'm not going to ask you to share. I'm not going to ask you to comment. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, because it is what it is, and I'm only giving my opinion. This is not a financial advice. You do whatever you need to do, right? But just remember this. Well, strategy is king. You need strategy, not leverage, not more double up. Oh, I'm going to double up on this, not double up on that. But you need strategy on which coins you're going to hold, however many you're going to hold, and how you're going to be keeping them, hodling them, or selling them, or whatever you want to do. How you're going to be doing it, you need to figure that out. Of course, if you want to talk strategies, as I said, a lot of you guys have my direct number. Call me, we talk, no problem. Okay, and then we can come up with something. But yeah, it should be awesome. I'm not going to talk anything about paradexes right now. I know a lot of people are kind of in a bad situation right now. They probably don't want to be thinking about investing in another coin, or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm not going to even talk about it. But yeah, I'll catch you on another one, guys. Adios.